Hey there, campers. My name's Kimmy.
And my name's Ryan.
We've noticed you stumbled upon our mystical campfire, so that means there's a solid chance you have some questions. Like,
why am I here? What's going on? And why are there cryptid and folklore creatures everywhere? And should I be worried about the Mothman dressed as a camp counselor swooping down to steal my s'mores?
Well, you've stumbled upon the Aloreing Campgrounds. Aloreing is a folklore podcast where every episode we dive into the history and lore of different creatures and cryptids you see wandering around these campgrounds.
And during each episode, we discuss the sightings, encounters, poems, history, fun, facts, and pop culture focused on our campfire topic that week. We hope through shared experience we can learn and make light about all the unknown corners of the universe.
So come take a seat around the campfire, make yourself at home, and listen to Aloreing Today anywhere podcasts are heard. Or watch videos on YouTube, or even go to our website, aloreing.com. That's ALOREING.com.
I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian.
And we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudays. Welcome to another episode of the Paranormal Lovers.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
We're at week 20.
Yep, episode 20. What did you love about this week?
You know what?
Or do you want me to go first?
Not a freaking lot. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It was a rough week for us. Our kid was sick.
Yeah, she had something, like all of her tests were negative, but they said that her symptoms seemed to be like a new strain of strep that like presented itself as a stomach bug. So we had like a stomach bug type thing, and then she was just sick and sick and sick. But I don't know, I guess going to the pediatrician and getting a Z-Pack so it knocks this crud out of her. And
she had the cyborg star. She had the cyborg virus.
The cyborg virus.
Yep. That's what we're going to call it.
But shout out to the mamas today.
Happy Mother's Day.
That's what we're recording this on, so a happy belated Mother's Day.
Well, I loved several things about this week. I had all three of them in my head, but the one I can think of right now is getting the Crypt Keeper. One of my friends at work gave me... He had something for me, and I was like, What do you got for me? Because he was like, I got this hook that you can put on your toolbox, and you can hang stuff on it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Bring it out. I'll use it. And he brings me this hook, and the hook has on it a Crypt Keeper head from Tales from the Crypt on HBO. And
was it on HBO?
Yeah, it originally was on HBO. But I used to watch it when I was a kid, way younger than like what I should have been when I was watching it because it was rated R. But yeah, he brought me this full-blown head, and he was like, "Here, you can have it." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because it's really nice. But
it is nice, and it's spooky, but it's also like super nostalgic.
Yeah,
you know, because I remember watching the Crypt Keeper. He was a creepy man's.
I tried to put it on my toolbox and my locker, but I was afraid somebody was going to steal it. So
I bet they would have.
I was like, no, I can't leave this here.
In that place, which shall not be named because you signed an NDA when you were hired. Just letting you know.
We'll call it that place then.
That place over there. He's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. And I had a couple other things, but I forgot what they were. Anywho, on to episode 20. This episode's going to be about Swedish ghost rockets.
Okay, Swedish ghost rockets?
Swedish ghost rockets.
Swedish ghost rockets.
Yeah. Okay, Swedish ghost rockets. Okay, hold on. Alien craft are known to us as unidentified flying objects, or
UFOs.
UFOs. I like to call them UFOs. But the term unidentified flying objects was a label that was created in 1947 because of a sighting by Kenneth Arnold. Kenneth Arnold was an American aviator pilot that was flying in the region around Mount Rainier. Oh, he was a private pilot, I'm pretty sure. But on this day, he reported seeing a string of 9 shiny objects fly past the window of his aircraft that he was flying. Hold on, I lost my place on my notes.
This is why paragraphs are important.
I know it. Now, the way they were flying was much faster than the aircraft that he was in, so he calculated out the speed of the objects to be around 1,200 miles an hour.
Jeez.
Yep. And labeled them UFOs in his report. So that's where the term came from. It made nationwide news coverage and led to the media also calling them flying saucers. So that's where that term came from. This was the first time these two words have been used for alien craft, and is used to describe. It wasn't the only words at that time that were used. There was another used in Scandinavian countries that was actually used a year earlier. They were called ghost rockets. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland in 1946 had hundreds of reports coming in of ghost rockets. During the Second World War, UFO sightings had been popping up all over the place. I bet the aliens thought we were going to off ourselves.
Yeah, I bet they were. But where does ghost come from?
Well, that's just what they call it. The Swedes called them.
But I wonder why they picked, like, ghost rocket. That's interesting.
Maybe you'll figure it out after I do my thing. Just
you'll get there, okay.
I'll get there. But back to the ghost rockets. A year after the war ended, a wave of UFO sightings was seen mostly in Europe over Scandinavia. I had never heard of ghost rockets before now, until I got to digging into this one. I found them on a list of UFO sightings on Wikipedia, and I was like, ghost rockets?
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
Exactly.
So, started looking into it. It seemed like the compilation that they had was really cool. It had like a list, like by date, of historical UFO sightings, and it was a lot of them.
Oh, I bet.
I was like, wow. But the reason we had never heard of them, though, I'll get into a little bit later. The quick answer is the Swedish government covered it up.
Oh, shocker.
It was 40 years later before any information on the ghost rockets was released. Now, let's get into the sightings. One of these called ghost rockets was sighted at night on June 9th, 1946, over Helsinki. And it was described as a brilliant light streaking across the sky and leaving a trail of smoke that was visible for around 10 minutes. The only sound that was heard was a sound of thunder that could be heard as the brilliant object whizzed by. Sounds a lot like a meteorite to me.
Yeah.
Like, it streaks across, explodes, makes a sound, and then just, nothing else. But I don't think an alien craft would leave behind a trail, really. Yeah. Because, like, propulsion types, like...
Is it a trail
I could
in
be
the
wrong,
sky
though.
or on the ground?
In the sky.
Okay.
But that being said, the ghost rocket was reported to be seen the next night as well. So, like, that night and then the next night, they seen the same thing.
Kind of makes me think they were seeing, like, a meteor shower.
Only this time, the ghost rocket was seen going one direction and then turned around and went back the other direction.
All right, dude.
Which would completely rule out meteorites.
Yeah. I mean, and it was 1940s. I don't think the pollution was as bad as it is today.
Right.
It's possible that it's just something in the atmosphere that was causing a tail.
Could be, yeah.
Who knows?
On June 12th, the Swedish defense staff ordered the military personnel to report any ghost rocket sightings directly to them. They told the military that they had been aware of the phenomenon since May 1946. These sightings were happening a lot this whole year. It wasn't just one or two here and there. But on July 9th, 1946, there were more than 200 ghost rocket sightings in a single day.
Wow.
Yeah.
What day was that?
July 9th, 1946.
You know me and Google.
Right.
Like, what is going on that day?
If there were so many, then what did they look like? You know, like, people had to know what they look like.
Yeah.
They were described as tube-like objects flying low to the ground, some of them even looking like spindles, like sewing spindles. Which is weird.
That is weird.
But some were flying low and making no sound at all. The Swedish government put together a special committee to investigate the ghost rocket sightings. A week later, the American Secretary of the Navy, James Forrestal, traveled to Stockholm to meet with the Swedish Secretary of War. On August 11th, in 1946, Stockholm had more than 300 reports of strange ghost rocket sightings. Swedish newspapers started censoring most of the reports of these sightings, but the reports still came pouring in from other Scandinavian countries. They were all over, not just in Sweden.
Yeah.
Norway seemed to have the best of these reports. In 1984, the Swedish government finally opened its ghost rocket files, or as we know it, the X-Files.
No! Are you serious?
No, that's just my name for it.
I was like, no way.
But they opened their ghost rocket files to the public in 1984.
I mean, let's both be honest. There's probably a lot of inspiration that came from that.
I'm sure.
For the X-Files, because
yeah.
Didn't the X-Files, start?
I'm sure they have a ghost rocket episode. Like, I'm pretty sure of it.
I'm not sure when the X-Files started, but I feel like it was around the same time.
But, UFO researchers found more than 1,500 reports that have been secretly collected during this time. Common characteristics of the ghost rockets described by both military and civilian sources were the following. They moved with great speed and gave off a brilliant light that had been associated with missiles. Right?
Yeah, I could see that.
And no sound at all. They were like quiet going by. So you didn't hear anything. You just seen them bright light go by.
I can't say if missiles are quiet because I've never heard of. I've never
seen a missile.
One.
Yeah, right. They were seen flying horizontally across the sky too, which ruled out anything that could occur naturally. So, like, meteors would be like kind of diagonal. Like these were straight across the sky.
Yeah.
The Swedish government blamed the Soviet Union for the ghost rocket sightings, saying that they were believed to be captured V-2 rockets. See, like the Germans captured a bunch of V-2 rockets, German V-2 rockets in World War II. And people generally believed that because it seemed likely.
I mean, I could see it.
Although years later, the Soviet Union admitted that they captured V-2 missiles, but they were immediately moved to Poland after being captured. So then that would rule that out.
My brain is making some wild connections that, like, all I keep thinking is, like, Dyatlov Pass. Like,
Right.
was literally, I feel like it was the same year they, like, same year they started the files.
Yeah.
Like, that's, and they
Kinda
saw,
weird,
like,
huh?
there's pictures
lights.
from Dyatlov Pass of, like, a bright light from one of the cameras.
Right.
And they, like, I swear, like, yeah, I'm telling you what, could have been aliens. I think we figured it out.
Could have been. Like, a lot of these really could have been, because in my thoughts, like, aliens are looking for humans offing themselves. Or that's what I think whenever, I hear aliens, like, oh, they're coming to an event, like an extinction event or something, so they can witness what went wrong with these humans.
Right, or just to witness it.
Right.
I feel like there's some aliens that are, like, kind of like guardians and, like,
Sure.
memory keepers, if you will.
Right. So, the possibility, so the Soviet Union said that, their missiles were in Poland, and so that ruled out the possibility of missiles being ghost rockets.
Allegedly.
I mean, we know governments lie, but...
And I'm kind of hoping that's what it was, because if it was aliens that happened on Dyatlov Pass, those are some terrible aliens.
Right. So, 40 years later, a Swedish air engineer, Eric Malmberg, who was one of the Secretary of Sweden's Defense Staff Committee, or was on the Sweden Defense Staff Committee that dealt with the matter in 1946, stated that everyone on the committee, including the chairman, knew that the ghost rockets did not originate from the Soviet Union. No evidence was ever found to suggest that that was what they were. Back then, the problem was that no nation in the world had sophisticated enough technology to make a cruise missile of that sort in 1946.
Yeah, no, especially not going that fast.
But at the end of the year in 1946, the ghost rocket reports in Sweden seemed to kind of diminish and peter out. But that was not the end of the ghost rockets. Similar reports started coming in from other countries. Hungary, Greece, Morocco, Portugal, all started seeing these sightings of ghost rockets, making them a global phenomenon. The reports of the ghost rockets in Sweden peaked on the 9th and 11th of August in 1946, like I was saying. Although there were around 2,000 reported sightings, 200 that were spotted only on radar. A number of fragments were reported to be found by military authorities. The origin of the ghost rockets is still unknown to this day. If they were captured German V-2 rockets from the Soviet Union, they would have been held in a facility called, I'm going to mess this one up.
Try your best, Bill.
Peenemünde. The fragments that were found were unrecognizable, though.
I wonder how many non-military personnel find fragments as well.
I don't know.
Somebody just using, like, a piece of a UFO as a doorstop.
Right. Most of the objects seen had no visible exhaust trail. See, this is where I found, like, two different stories on it.
Yeah.
Most of them had no visible trail. And most moved too slowly to be V-2 missiles. But every single one of them were flying horizontally. Some of the reports said that they have seen them in formations, moving quietly across the sky. So, like, not just one, but, like...
Yeah, like, if it was, like, a slower object traveling across the sky, I could almost just be like, okay, that could be a plane.
Right.
Especially if it's just going in a straight line.
Yeah.
I could think it's a plane. But if you're talking about a formation, unless it's a military...
thing, yeah.
exercise, I don't see a bunch of planes being in formation.
Right. They did, however, resemble being missile-shaped, with and without wings. Usually only visible for a couple of seconds. So, like, see where the, like, two different story thing comes in?
Yeah.
It's like, if you're only seeing it for a couple of seconds, that's got to be moving fast.
Yeah.
Like, but, so I don't see the slow... I guess there was two different ones that they were seeing, maybe?
That's the thing with eyewitness report. People are going to report different things.
What I'm thinking is, like...
And it's possible that both was true. It's possible that some people saw a missile-shaped object shooting across the sky.
And then an alien following it.
Or just like, somebody else saw that same thing, but they were...
in a different spot, maybe?
Or just they were doing something different. So they were going, they were observing versus traveling.
Right.
Right. Does that make sense?
Sure. They said that the slower ones also resembled a more cigar-like shape, though. Which is, I guess that's a missile shape, too.
Yeah, I could say a missile. I've never really heard of, like, a missile-shaped UFO, though. They're always round in some way.
I've heard of cigar ones.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've heard
they
some
move
of,
like
drones, but...
They're, like, they don't go tip first, though. They go, like...
Sideways. Oh, that's... Oh.
See what I mean?
Ew. For some reason, that just feels wrong. Why are you... It's like seeing a hot dog just float across the sky. Like, what
right.
No.
Also, people reported a hissing and a rumbling sound, which was also reported. Some of them were reported a hissing and rumbling sound when they flew across.
I wonder if it was the ones going fast or the ones going slow.
I don't know.
Because maybe they were going slow because they were having engine problems. Maybe their check engine light was on and they were trying to figure it out.
So, crashes of ghost rockets were also reported during this time. Mostly in lakes, though.
Ah, damn.
Some of the reports also saying that they would crash into a lake, propel themselves across the water, and then sink below the surface.
Do you remember the Manhattan Project?
Mm-mm. Oh, wait, yeah.
How the ship went to the East River?
Right.
What are they doing with our water?
I don't know.
What are they doing in our water bill? Why are they fucking with our water source bill? Are they bat aliens? Maybe.
Right. They're giving us COVID to see if we have the immunity for it.
Maybe. They're like, listen, we're just going to go ahead and help y'all out
try
with
this.
a little population.
If they live, then we'll come back and get the cure.
Oh, no. That's so weird. Could you imagine if there was a disease like COVID that killed a whole nother entire race, like completely wiped everybody off the map, and yet, obviously terrible. We've lost millions and millions and millions of lives to this thing, but the large majority of people are coming out, I won't say unscathed, but alive.
Right.
Yeah, we both have issues from having COVID, but that's bizarre to think that there might be something humans are like better able to combat than aliens.
Right. I think bacteria would be one of them because we're just petri dishes.
Yeah, that's true.
At least our daycares are.
Bless America. These children.
Yeah.
Just little petri dishes. Yeah, I guess you could say that because I feel like once you get to a certain higher whatever, you're going to be like really sterile and clean,
Right.
But we're just down here wallowing in mugs like pigs. Like, it's fine.
So, all they could find in the investigations were... hold on. The Swedish government did several investigative dives into the lakes after the reported crashes. All they could find in the investigations were craters at the bottom of the lakes. And some shredded plant matter. Like where they had went through, The best known crash was into a lake called Lake Kolmjar in Sweden, July 19th, 1946. Witnesses reported a gray rocket-shaped object with wings crashed into the lake. It was reported that there was a thunderclap sound that was emitted during the crash, and could have been that the object exploded. Although a 3-week military investigation was conducted in the lake, and no evidence was found of this object. The officer who led the search was Carl Gustav Bartol. He was interviewed in 1984 and said that their investigation suggested that the object largely disintegrated during its flight. He speculated that the object was made of a material that was designed to disintegrate, possibly a magnesium alloy, like a fire starter, you know, like the really bright burning brick part of the fire starter.
That fun stuff that I waited I tried 3 hours.
For an hour to get started, yeah.
To get started.
The material, when it ignited, would burn up, basically.
Yeah.
But Bartol said that what people saw was real physical objects. So it wasn't a phantom rocket like the name suggests, you know.
Makes me wonder if it was satellite debris or something.
I don't know. On December 3rd, 1946, a memo was drafted for the Swedish Ghost Rocket Committee that stated that nearly 100 impacts have been reported and that 30 pieces of debris have been received and examined by the FOA, which was the Swedish National Defense Research Institute. They later said that there were just meteorite fragments. Which is, no, I don't believe that.
My brain's sitting over here going, there's a door in the lake. They live in the earth.
Right. Of the 1,000 reports that were investigated by the Swedish defense staff up to November 29th, 1946, 225 were considered real physical objects again, and every one of them had been seen in broad daylight. On August 20th, 1946, the New York Times reported that 2 U.S. experts on aerial warfare, General Jimmy Doolittle and General David Sarnoff.
Jimmy Doolittle?
Yeah. President of RCA Radio Corporation of America, arrived in Stockholm and on a private business trip, and independently of each other.
Did you say RCA?
Yep.
Like the VHS company?
Yep, that's the same one. It was first the Radio Corporation of America.
Wow.
RCA.
That's...
I had to look it up too. I was like, I wonder what RCA stands for, because, you know, I know it's the VHS company or whatever.
Right.
But...
Wild.
So I guess they made that after they did radio. You know what I mean?
If there are any children listening to this, VCR is a piece of equipment we used to use to watch VHSs, which were giant videotapes. You're welcome.
So the official explanation was that Doolittle was now the vice president of the Shell Company, and he was inspecting the European branch offices, while General Sarnoff was studying the market for radio equipment. However, unofficially and secretively, the two had been sent by Lieutenant General Hoyt Vandenberg, who was the director of the Central Intelligence Group. Guess which that one turned into?
The CIA.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun.
And he sent them to investigate the ghost rockets. The chief of the Swedish defense staff was extremely interested in asking these two's advice, and if possible, placing all existing evidence of the reports in front of them. On August 22nd, Vandenberg wrote a top-secret memo to President Truman, based in part by the information collected by the two. Sarnoff said that the weight of evidence points to, again, Peenemünde as the origin of the missiles, that facility that I mentioned.
Yeah.
They concluded that they were long-range V-1, V-2 rockets that would self-destruct upon impact due to to a small demo charge set off upon impact. Now, the Greek government conducted their own investigations with their leading scientist, Dr. Paul Santorini, in charge. And Santorini had been in charge of the development of the proximity fuse on the first atomic bomb.
Oh my.
Yep. And held patents for guidance systems for Nike missiles. I never heard of Nike missiles before, but...
No. I'm also thinking, though, don't missiles fly straight? Like,
Yes.
tip to tip, straight,
Yeah.
not sideways?
Right.
Okay.
Now, Santorini was supplied by the Greek army with a team of engineers to investigate what they were again believed to be Russian missiles that were flying over Greece. In 1967, a lecture to the Greek Astronomical Society was broadcast on Athens radio. It was the first time Santorini publicly revealed what he had found in his 1947 investigation. He said that we soon established that they were not missiles. But before we could do any more, the Army, after conferring with U.S. officials, U.S. Department of Defense, ordered the investigation stopped.
Shocker. I am so thoroughly shocked to my core.
Right. Foreign scientists from Washington were flown to Greece for secret talks with Santorini. Later, Santorini told UFO researchers such as Raymond Fowler that secrecy was invoked because officials were afraid to admit that there was a superior technology against which we had no possibility of defense. These guys were freaked out.
Maybe 45 wasn't a total dumbass about having a space force. I'm just saying.
Most everyone who saw the Swedish ghost rockets was bewildered at what was flying in the skies above them, and whether they were captured Soviet rockets or alien beings trying to look into the going on of humans, we'll never know. But they will forever be known as ghost rockets.
Ghost rockets.
I just like that name.
Ghost rockets.
What do you think, baby? What do you think they were? What do you guys think they were? You should let us know in the comments.
I could see it being UFOs, especially so close to, back-to-back world wars.
Sure.
Like, all the aliens are like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, can y'all calm down?
I mean, the name alone,
Please.
like World War, is like...
Yeah, like literally the world at war. The whole thing
Right.
just blowing up, bombs everywhere. Like,
So I could see it being aliens.
I could definitely. I wonder. Ooh, I would be interested to know what the UFO sighting is currently over Ukraine and Russia.
I don't know.
That would be very interesting.
I want to say
know.
I've seen something where they've like sighted some stuff over there.
Yeah, because I don't see it. I don't see that getting any better.
No,
And it could possibly get much worse with many more world powers getting involved.
I'm sure.
So we'll see.
Right.
See if we have World War III.
Yeah.
If the UFOs come back
Right.
in like mass. But still, the whole like missile shaped UFO flying sideways across the sky, it's just wrong. My brain's like, it's not supposed to do that.
Right.
I would not be okay. And also, what the fuck? U.S. government just going in everywhere being like, no, you can't do that.
Hold on, you can't research this.
Like, sir, this is not your country. Leave us alone, please. God. Always putting our damn nose in where it don't belong.
Yeah, we always have to suppress all the information.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we're a big world superpower that is broke and about to default on all of our debts. So,
Right.
Merca. So that was pretty good, Bill. I'd never
Thanks.
heard of the ghost rockets.
Me neither.
I haven't heard a lot of UFO stuff outside of the U.S., but that's just probably my own American ignorance showing. Because I'm sure they're there, obviously.
They don't want you to hear about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Ugh.
That's
whatever.
I guess that's the problem with UFOs. Like the governments don't want you to hear about it, and then they make up an excuse for it, and then
Oh, it was a weather balloon.
yeah.
Like, okay. That weather balloon looked like a skinny scar flying across the sky, but okay.
But I do believe aliens are real.
I do too. I think that there's this one meme you always see on like Instagram
They're real physical objects.
where it'll be like, yeah, or it'll be like UFOs, like aliens flying past Earth, and they're like, "Ooh, the ghetto."
Sure, yeah.
I can't really blame them for that. I would love to meet one though. Like,
Me and Felicia got my mom a Mother's Day shirt. It had 2 aliens on it, and they both were holding cats, and it said, "Look, I found something. It's vibrating."
you guys have seen those little aliens on Instagram, I'm sure. They're just like little white blurbs, and they always say the most obvious thing. They're cute. Glad she enjoyed it. And I got me a little dragon. He's cute, and a couple of crystals and stones. I love them.
Rocks.
Some rocks.
Look at
Holy
these rocks.
shit, would you look at these rocks? That's me all the time, looking at rocks. Every time when I take our kid, every single day when I take her to preschool,
She picks one up, doesn't she?
she has to pick me up a rock from the gravel right out front of the step.
She does the same thing when I pick her up.
She's obsessed with rocks.
Yep. She's going to be a geologist.
I made a monster out of her. What can I say? All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us for our 20th episode this week.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
And we will be back for another episode next week.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, if you want to, head on over to Instagram and follow us at The Paranormal Lovers. You can send us an email just to say hi, to request a topic, to send us a personal story if you would like, at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com.
We really appreciate shout-outs and everything.
Yeah,
from
we
you guys.
appreciate that. Shout out Indigenous Tales again. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
YouTube videos go up same day it's released. Just search at The Paranormal Lovers, and then Patreon if you would like to support us. And we are working on getting our merch store up and running. Woo! So if you guys want to support us that way and get some interesting swag stuff.
Merchandising.
Yeah.
Merchandising.
I'm looking at us doing
A flamethrower?
Can we please? Do you know how much trouble I would get in if I had a flamethrower with all of the stickers and flags that fly around here? I'd be going to jail because I'd be burning up people's shit.
Hey, so some girl got arrested with a alleged paranormal lovers flamethrower.
Be like, look, man, we just sell it. We don't supply the gas or nothing. We just sell the flamethrower. I don't know, man. No, we're gonna have it set up where it's gonna be like print on demand. So when you guys order, it's gonna take a week or two for it to get shipped out because it's gonna be made to order.
Yeah.
So we like that model a little bit better. It saves us room and money on inventory. It gets you guys what you
Some
want
merch.
when you want it. Like, we won't have to worry about, oh, we're out of this size or that size. They'll have it in stock. They'll be able to make it and ship it to you. So,
And it'll still be stuff from us, too.
yeah,
From my art and stuff.
it'll still be his art, and we're going to get online and put some stuff together to make some more stuff. Stuff, you guys.
We're trying to make this legit.
Yeah, trying to do some stuff.
Yep.
Get, our 30 followers.
We have fun doing this, so it's all fun for us.
We do have fun doing this. I love to learn. My brain just loves to absorb as much information as it can, and
Yeah.
then I love to tell it to the masses about weird shit.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.